This is a continuation of another short little video on the performance continuum. So there's one video on how to move low-functioning teams to mid-functioning teams. There's a second video on moving mid-functioning teams towards higher-functioning teams. But a question often not addressed is, how can the leader prevent taking a high-functioning team and moving it to mid or low-functioning? So every training I do, every single time, somebody comes up to me and says, you know, we're a high-functioning team, but the leader's the problem. The leader, by how they interact with us, they affect our creativity and our efficiency and our productivity by their style. What often is happening is the leader is feeling like they have a role to play in facilitation, and by playing that role actively and too aggressively, they're stripping down the functionality of the team. And you actually see a team, it's right before your eyes. You see them from being in complete rapport, everybody's mirroring postures, they're all asking each other questions before they go on to different opinions. They're asking good, high-quality questions one another. You see them moving from that to all of a sudden getting into random conversations. Worst case, they actually shut down, which is a low-functioning team. And you can take a high-functioning team and turn them into a lower-functioning team in minutes. And so this is the kiss of death for a leader. So what does a leader need to understand about high-functioning teams in terms of what they look like and what their role is? So that's what I'd like to spend just a couple of minutes on. So as I sort of alluded to just a second ago, if you sat down with a high-functioning team, or if you looked at a high-functioning team, and you even looked at them at a distance, they're all leaning into each other, they have almost similar body postures, everybody makes great eye contact with every speaker, they ask each other clarifying questions. In a quick snapshot, that's what a high-functioning team looks like and how they operate. So if a leader finds themselves, they just need to come in and they need to just sit there with their team, then what do they need to do to keep that team in that kind of level of functionality? For sure, they don't need to be offering many of their opinions. For sure, they don't need to be directing the team what to do, because the team is doing fine. So what is the role of a leader in a high-functioning team? Their job is much like that of an airplane pilot. That is to come on, and they need to reassure the group of their safety. Need to reassure the group. Our destination is, we're going from Sacramento to Burbank, and we're going to fly at a certain altitude. This is how we're going to process, how we're going to work, so that we're safe, that we're productive, we get there safe and sound. So you need to set the stage as a leader, and then you need to back away. The team is high functioning. They're quite capable of coming up with the brilliant ideas you'd come up with. Just let them do their work, but you're there sitting with them in case something goes wrong with the computer, the autopilot in the plane. The team is the autopilot. If something goes wrong, you need to step in and make a slight course correction. So you're there to just monitor and adjust the process, not the content. At the end of the meeting, the role of that leader, facilitative leader, is you need to land the plane. You can have a great flight, but if you don't land in Burbank, we got a problem. What does landing the plane for a group mean? It means you need to summarize what was accomplished. You need to probably help the group talk about what they learned through the conversation, both about the content and about how they went through that meeting, so they can build upon that. And you need to summarize what will be the next steps, the things that the group's already agreed on, before you meet again. And you notice very little of this has to do with directing the group. Very little, if any, has to do with telling the group what to do in terms of content. You have a high-functioning team. They're quite capable and competent. If you don't do those things, you have a high probability of moving that high-functioning team down to a lower functionality. So I hope these tips have been useful to you. That's it for today. Bye for now.